Getting ready for the Fire Friday. How we doing? Wagwan, wagwan. This is the Suzette Speak Show live each and every Thursday and Friday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. We come here to entertain you, uplift your spirit, give you some news, tell you wagwan in the community. Of course, what's going on social media, baby. Haha. Listen, well, I guess it's kind of a sad story still. But of course, yesterday's show I dedicated to the passing of Malcolm Jamal Warner. Welcome, first of all, everybody. If this is your first time here, I'm Suzette Speaks. I'm an attorney. I serve the community, not only by the cases that I take on to help people seek justice. That is, I am a personal injury attorney here in South Florida, helping the Florida clients, seek justice when it comes to things like car accidents or being injured on the job. Of course, anything that happens in the hospital, medical malpractice cases where unfortunately mistakes are made when you are entering a medical facility. I help with those type of cases. So if you ever have any type of issues or problems, loss of a loved one, I'm here to help. So you can always call the station. They will put you right in touch with me, or you can reach us here 850-446-0562. So that's one part of the hats that I wear. Another part is I am a community activist. I am always trying to advocate for, better living, people to have better understanding and better access to the American dream, right? So I attend a lot of events. You'll see me around town trying to uplift the community. Of course, I bring Voice of the Caribbean right along with me when I do those things. And you might catch me emceeing or hosting. I was just asked yesterday to host a 5K run that I'm super excited about. I don't sign the paperwork yet. So as soon as I am officially the MC for this 5K dedicated to helping women, I will announce it here. So you'll hear a lot about community events and things that are going on, in South Florida from me. Other thing I really enjoy is I'm a newsie. I watch the news, I listen to the news, so you don't have to. I try to consolidate all of the, rampant, changing news that we get on a daily basis to try to bring it into, something that is easily digestible and, sometimes fun as well. So sometimes it's sad, like yesterday, I had to dedicate the show to the passing of Malcolm Jamal Warner. Again, that is the iconic actor who played Theo Huxtable. Long live Theo Huxtable on The Cosby Show. Unfortunately, in a very horrible, horrific disaster on Sunday in Costa Rica, drowning accidentally while swimming in an area known for riptides. So we went over some of his wonderful career yesterday as an actor. He also is a Grammy winner. If y'all didn't know, this man was very talented. A poet, a musician, and more. So for all of the impact that he had on our lives, I thought it, was appropriate to spend some time talking about him. Now, one thing them Caribbean people love to say is death come in threes. You ever heard that saying, that death come in threes? Well, I don't know. This week it was a lot of death. It was more than three. But the big news yesterday was the loss of a wrestling great. Now, some people will say he's not so great based on some of the behavior he displayed later in life. But, he had a great career as a wrestler prior, and I'm speaking about the one and only Hulk Hogan. Now, my grandmother, rest in peace, Miss Barbara, was a big wrestling fan, right? When she emigrated here from Jamaica, my parents brought her up. She lived with us when I was a young girl. And I just remember the two things that she loved to watch. She loved our wrestling, Monday night wrestling. And she also loved her soap operas, the stories, right? So the soap operas and the wrestling, those are the two things I remember. And she loved our tennis too. My grandmother loved to watch tennis matches. And speaking of, I just heard that there will be a primetime face-off between Tiafo and what's the other guy's name? He went to University of Florida. Let me look. Tiafo plays tonight. Let me Google that real quick. But I was listening to it. Francis Tiafo, the American, and he plays. Who is he playing? Shelton. He plays Shelton tonight at 7 p.m. Here in a tennis match that will be televised, the ATP Tour. So yeah, you can check him out tonight. I'm sure my dad loves tennis too, so he'll be tuning in. But he is top ranked. This is the men's singles. Tiafoe will be playing in the quarterfinal. Ben Shelton, that's what his name. Ben Shelton versus Francis Tiafoe tonight at 7. I might tune in for a little bit. So it's going to be an interesting matchup tonight. Also, as I was saying with the wrestling, long live, my grandma. But there is such a mixed, let me tell you, a mixed review on the passing of Hulk Hogan. Man, the memes, the comment sections all around social media, especially in predominantly black spaces, they're not taking it easy on this man. What do you mean, Sue? Well, in some of the commentary about Hulk Hogan, people are remembering him not for his glory days in WrestleMania when he used to, come out to the music, Real American. You remember him used to rip off him shirt? Hulkamania, Hulkamania. I can't sound like Hulk. And him put him hand over him ears, and put him hand behind him ears. And, he was one of the, icons at that time in the 80s of wrestling. And it is a shame because a lot of people now are remembering him for his, missteps, let's call it, later in life. And some of them will say it's more than a misstep. So you giving him some grace. I'm trying to give him some grace. The man just passed. But Hulk Hogan ended up speaking at the Republican National Convention. And more importantly, there was an exchange during, he was talking about his daughter. And he was talking about if he wanted her to marry a black man or something to the effect that, she was dating a black man at the time. It was her boyfriend. And he was like using the N-word. I'm talking about hard R, N-word, to speak about, if she's going to marry an N-word, at least make it $100 million or a rich one or them kind of thing. That was very appalling. People were shocked. And of course, there was also a shocking, videotape that was released about him. I don't want to speak too ill of the dead, but, about him and his wife and infidelities and things like that. He wasn't a perfect person, right? So the people on social media, man, they are letting him have it. It is not cute. It is not, it is such a contrast between the loving and fond messages that went out to the family and all the remembrances of Malcolm Jamal Warner compared to what they talking about with Hulk Hogan. It is a, horrific contrast. And he died by a heart attack is what they're saying. But there was a lot of drama. That's the word I'll use. There was a lot of drama inside of Hulk Hogan's scandals, right? And controversies, the racist rant, the family drama, the tape of him and doing illicit activities. There was a lot going on. So I don't know how you feel. You can call me 850-446-0562, 850-446-0562. I'm not going to stop talking about alligator Alcatraz at all. I'm going to give you some hot topics today. Oh, I got to put on my lawyer hat today because I also saw an incredible story coming out of Long Island. Did you guys hear about this? This man, I'm trying to still figure out some of the details. Did you hear about this man that entered an MRI room? You remember, the imaging. You ever did an MRI, the imaging technology where you go inside like a tube and it allows through, I guess, magnets, the machine reads through, the skin and the bones. It's not like a x-ray, as my grandma would say, rest in peace, x-ray. It's not an x-ray, but it's reading the soft tissue in your body, right? I've had an MRI. You go in the tube. Sometimes you feel claustrophobic. Some people can't even take doing an MRI. They will get anxiety. I close my eyes. It coming like you're down in a grave, like you're down in a tunnel. And when you sit in the MRI machine, sometimes it can be very claustrophobic, right? Anyway, so I've done that a couple times, to look at your internal organs, etc. Some people have to go deep into it, their whole body in this little tube. But apparently a man walked into walked into a room where an MRI machine was being operated. And because he had a chain on his neck, a big old gold chain, the machine sucked him. He wasn't inside the machine. He just walked into the room. Because remember, they always tell you, take off all your jewelry. I even remember I had hairpins in my hair, and they were like, "You have any hairpins or anything?" 'Cause, you know, they know the ladies, we like to pop on a little hair. I didn't have on no wig, guys, but you know, no disrespect if you do, but sometimes those wigs have, you know, metal clips, and I'm sure they have seen them before. So she was like, "Is there anything in your hair?" I was like, "No." "Oh, yes, I do have a couple metal pins, bobby pins," and I took them out as well. Of course, all your rings and all your earrings, everything have to come out. But I cannot even imagine the scene of somebody walking into an operational MRI room while the machine is running. Those giant machines that allow your full body, you know, to be imaged, right? They're taking pictures of the inside of your body. And it was so sad. The man got sucked to the machine, and died the next day. I'm going to read some of the details about it because I was like, this is such a random story. We've had some random stories this week. And they say death come in threes, but Hulk Hogan wasn't the only other person that died. The lady who sings "Hey Pretty Baby," da, 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 da. Let me get the names right. Because also Mangione, what's the guy's name? A jazz person who died this week. It's so many passings. What is it to mean, right? We sometimes look for meaning. What is it telling us? Oh, I forgot to mention Ozzy Osbourne. Yes, Ozzy Osbourne too. So this week alone in the entertainment world, we mourn the loss of notable figures. Hulk Hogan. Yes, I see you online. Hey, Dr. Thunder watching me. Hey, the Stephanie Humphrey channel. If you're watching me on the YouTube, if you're watching me on the app, yes. Voice of the Caribbean, South Florida's 24/7 Caribbean American radio station is on an app. So you can download it from your app store and take us with you wherever you go. But of course, if you're watching online, big up yourself. If you're listening in our listening area, Miami, what's up? 94.3 FM. Of course, North Miami, Hollywood, 96.1 FM, Fort Lauderdale, Wagwan, 92.7 FM. But yes, I'm trying to find the silver lining because there has been, again, a lot of death this week. Let's just be real. When you turn on the news every day this week, we had Ozzy Osbourne, we had Hulk Hogan, started the week off with Cosby Show star Malcolm Jamal Warner. And oh, this is who I meant. That additionally, a jazz musician, Chuck Mangione. If you listen to the music, you'll know his music. He was pioneer in what we call today smooth jazz. Dr. Thunder, now you would know. Dr. Thunder, who's watching me online, is an incredible musician himself. But Chuck Mangione is not one until I Googled him and I started listening to the song. I was like, oh my gosh. He, I think, helped to pioneer what we call smooth jazz today. And it was incredible. Like some of the music he made. He's from New York as well. And Anne Burrell is the lady who sang Pretty Little Baby. And I'm so happy before she passed, she got to hear a resurgence of her music through TikTok. Now, that's what we're talking about when we say, you know, we want to use social media for good. She got to see her music kind of be rediscovered by a new generation. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, that song Pretty Little Baby is being utilized on many of the videos that people upload on Instagram, on TikTok. And yeah, she got to get her flowers, right? She got to get her flowers. Pretty little baby. Da, 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 da. Oh, and last but not least, I didn't follow this person who also passed away this week. Anne Burrell. Do you guys know who this is? A popular chef from the Food Network. She's a Food Network star. Her hair, if you know this blonde lady with some push-up stick up here, her hair is very like spiky, kind of chef look. Blonde lady, I don't know, I'm trying to describe her, sorry, forgive me, just so you know who I'm talking about, because I don't watch a lot of Food Network. Some people are very into the cooking shows. Every now and then when I'm bored, I'll watch that, but that's not my thing. That's okay. But Anne Burrell, rest in peace, a popular chef from the Food Network, passed away at 55. Chuck Mangione, a jazz musician who achieved crossover success on the pop charts, died at 84. Of course, we talked about yesterday, Malcolm Jamal Warner, best known for playing Theo Huxtable on The Cosby Show, died at 54 in an accidental drowning. Ozzy Osbourne, and again, I'm so happy he got to receive his flowers. He did his final concert just a couple weeks ago, a few weeks back. The death metal star. You know, I got to know Ozzy Osbourne more during my time was when he was on MTV, the Osbourne Show. I watched that religiously, right? When you got to see the softer side, not the death metal bat eating, crazy on stage, right? Black Sabbath, Ozzy Osbourne in his day, baby. They used a lot of um chemicals. They was different, right? He was a very, very cutting edge, let's say, artist at that time. Uh Death metal is what he's known for. Ozzy Osbourne, the rocker, and he showed his softer side, his family side, on a show on MTV. That was like in the 2000s. That's what I'm saying. You never say never. There's another lesson. Never say never. You can be reborn, rebranded, rebirth, baby. Don't give up. Don't look past age. Sometimes we study our ages and we like, oh my gosh, it's too late for me. No, God give you a dream. There is a will, there is a way. As long as you have breath in your body, there is hope. Remember that. You are enough. You have what it takes. You are already ready. Sometimes we don't realize what we have. You have enough inside you already. You think you have to get ready. You are ready. And I know from reading that good book that God always uses people who are flawed. This is the thing. We are all flawed. I don't know why we expect politicians to be perfect. Our parents, help me, God, to be perfect. They were never perfect. They were human beings having a human experience just like you. Seeking forgiveness, seeking healing in oneself and on one's own mind, how you reflect on your own life, how you love yourself, how you embrace yourself, even with your flaws. That should be the work. If you embrace yourself and learn to love yourself, the Bible says to love your neighbor as you love yourself. You have to start with the self-love. Help us all, God. It is so difficult to do sometimes. But we have to take the time out to stop and pause as we reflect on these many passings this week. Like I said, rest in peace to all those who lost somebody, not just because they're not famous. People are still dying all around the world. We haven't even talked about Gaza in a long time. There are people starving there right now. Pray for them every day. This is inhumane. I can't even go into that subject, but I want you to stay on top of what's happening in the world. Sometimes it is so overwhelming. We get weary, especially with American politics looking the way it's looking right now. Sometimes we just want to check out. I'll tell anybody who will listen. I don't have all the answers, right? Because people ask me, Sue, what should we do? Look around. What can we do? And I know people are tired of hearing vote. It's just not vote. It's more than that, because we have what can I call it? Outside of government, we have to find solutions within our community, whether they be faith-based institutions, our churches, our synagogues and mosques, whatever, whether they be civic society, right? Our nonprofit organizations, community-based organizations that are feeding people, because people are hungry right now. People have to pay bills that they don't know where they're going to get the money from. People are deciding now that lunch is not free, hello, anymore, what's going to happen? So now that the government is not where we can look to for solutions, we have to be a little bit more creative. But my goal here is to encourage you not to withdraw from the system, from society, from your community. A lot of times I see online, we taking a break. We taking a break. We taking it off. I know I need a break too sometimes. And it's okay to take a break. But while you're breaking, the ball is still rolling and somebody is still pushing an agenda forward that will affect you and your community. So this whole idea of withdrawing from, whether it's a political process or society and community, no. Because there are those who will continue to engage that will set an agenda for you. And if you're not careful, you'll be written out your own community. Hello, somebody. Well, I'm not going to go down that soapbox. So we taking some time to remember. I guess after the break, I'm going to come back with this story of this man who wore jewelry. This is why they tell you in the MRI. I see you online, Dr. Thunder said he got claustrophobia from the MRI machine. As a personal injury attorney, as a person who looks at cases like this on a daily, what could happen? What could go wrong? And who is responsible? I have so much more questions than, I found an article online about it. I'm going to read it when I come back. But again, just reflect in a positive way. We have a beautiful weekend ahead of us, even though we've lost a lot of folks, especially in the entertainment industry this week. We're looking for the message, right? We're looking for how can we learn from these people? How can we lead, a life that leaves a positive mark? There's so much more we can do, even in your little space, in your family, in your home. Y'all, I'm gonna get off my soapbox. I gotta take a quick pause for the guys. Much more after this. Stay tuned. More Suzette Speaks after the break.
Facebook, and TikTok, and YouTube. This Friday, July the 25th.
I don't want to get copyrighted. How are you? Nice to see everybody here. Hey Steph, how are you? Listen, they jam the commercials be jamming on my station. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm by myself today in the studio. Normally, when I come in on a Friday, well, sometimes there's people. Oh, let me stop my other recording. Yeah, sometimes there's a lot of people. Today, nada. I'm just rocking it by myself. There's like nobody here. And sometimes I'll see, I'm looking up, we have a security monitor of 16 cameras, so I can see inside, outside, all the different studios. So that's where I'm looking. But anyway, hope everybody's well. I'm happy that you popped in. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm going to go over that other story. I did not bring my charger. I have to do a couple announcements when we come back.
Negligent security, wrongful death, and
I have to do a couple announcements when we come back, some community events.
5 minutes before.
But I hope everybody's doing well. Long time no see.
I'm here today to tell you there's a difference.
And yeah, I'm just trying to catch the people up on what's going on. Let me see if I can get a better angle.
When it comes to choosing your personal injury lawyer,
I don't like that angle. I'm gonna do the side angle. Yeah, so we have a couple of different angles here in the studio. Of course, I do my YouTube, but they have angles in the studios. But I hope everybody's doing well. I'm gonna have to get up in just a second. We have about 2 minutes of commercials. I have to turn down the studio AC every time halfway in my show because the AC auto turns into a hot box, goes up to like 78 in the middle of my show every time at 1:30. So I have to go back and put it down to 68. Anyway, I hope everybody's good. Hope you have good weekend plans. I should talk about this. I have cousins in town. I'll ask people, what do you think we should do? I have a cousin visiting from DC and a cousin visiting from Orlando. So we're gonna see what we're gonna get into this weekend. It's hot down here. I'm gonna save some of this for the radio. I should ask people, excuse me one moment. I will be right back. Don't go anywhere. I just need to turn down the AC off of this. It always pops back up hot in the middle of my show. Make sure it's down. So yeah, I have to pop it in. And y'all know I can't do a show without giving a little bit of motivation. That's just how we do. That's just how we do. That's just how we do. A little motivation in between. But it's been a long week. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's been a good week, but a long week. I'm ready for the hangout. Family fish fry tomorrow. Nice, Steph. Oh, I'm happy to hear that. Kosovo, and it took several years to get it right. Oh, wow. Yeah, I told her, I mean, it's super hot. It's going to be a dry weekend because we have Saharan dust. And that keeps our atmosphere very dry. And it's actually it's foggy looking. So literally sand from the Sahara or particles of sand or subparticles of sand are over us. So even at night when you turn on your headlights, it looks almost misty. So I don't know if I want to be outside. I was telling Cuz, hey, how are you, William? Yeah, I was telling Cuz I don't know if I want to be on the beach. Like we could do beach, but I don't want to be in the dust. I don't want to be inhaling particulates. So we'll see. We'll see if we can. I actually wouldn't mind doing something indoor, but I don't know. I want to see the Superman movie. I got stood up twice. Not really dates, but people who I was supposed to see the Superman movie with didn't go. So I still haven't seen the Superman. Have you guys seen the Superman movie? I don't even bring no lotion. I need lotion. That's what I'm looking for. No lotion in my bag. Look at that. No lotion. I have perfume, but no lotion. I'll get this little mint ball though. So yeah, I haven't seen that. That's the one. I know. I'm kind of curious. I did want to see Superman movie. There's no other movies that are jumping out at me right now. I don't think they're gonna want to see a movie. They're gonna want to go out. So I don't know what that looks like for us yet. I only want a little piece of the mint. Same. So grandma. Yeah, no, it was really annoying. I was supposed to go last week. Was it Thursday? No, Thursday I could say I kind of canceled. So I babysit. I have two little nieces now. I have a 5-year-old niece and a 12-week today. Thank you, Lord. 12-week-old niece. I was over there yesterday at my brother's auntie dutying. So last week when I was supposed to go to Superman, they called me last minute. I was like, "Can you come over?" So I had to cancel. That was kind of me. That was me. And then Tuesday, I was told, oh, my homeboy, he's going to visit his family. He was like, "Oh, we should go." I was like, "Okay, let's go." And he never called. But I know he's really busy. And I actually thought the day before you go on a trip out of town for like a week is not a really good day to go to movies because you're always last minute packing. Last minute things to do, things pop up all the time. Before you travel, it's not really a good time. So, of course, he told me he would check in Monday. I didn't see the check in, of course. Tuesday, saw it going. I'm like, he probably has a lot on his plate. Don't take it personally. So I text him at night and I was like, hey, have a safe trip. And I gave him some other information. Somebody I ran into wants to talk to him, blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, and I guess we'll do Superman when you get back. Smiley face and a little message emoji. And he's like, for sure, thank you, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, I haven't seen it yet. There is a brunch place. The thing is, my cousins are leaving early on Sunday, so we can't do brunch. I was gonna suggest brunch, but I mean, we have a couple Saturday brunch places here, but they don't. I don't think they're gonna want to do that. I don't think they're gonna want to do that. Oh yeah, but I don't want to do outdoors. Like I said, I mean, I love outdoors, but this weekend is gonna be hazy. So I wouldn't mind. You know what? I suggested to my cousin. There's a place in Miami. My other little cousin who turned 22, she and her friends went, and I'm a very adventurous, outdoorsy person. I don't think maybe you don't know that yet about me, but I like being outdoors and I like trying new stuff. I now with the water stuff, I'm not gonna lie. I want to snorkel and things, but now with all this drowning, it's giving me a little anxiety about it. But anyway, I told them I wanted to do, Miami has a place where you can do almost like outdoor obstacle courses. Those people that attach, the harness to you and you walk across the sky ladder and you walk across this. So I told my one cousin and she's like, so we have a possibility of falling. I don't think I'd like to endure this. I want to say you have safety harnesses on it, sis. We're not going to fall out of the sky. And I think it's good. It builds trust. It builds self-confidence. What do they call it? Not trust courses, not obstacle courses, but like the ones that are like challenge you. So I wanted to do that this weekend, and she was like, no, I don't think that's a good idea. Psych. You thought that was gonna be good? Psych. Like, yeah. So I'll let her choose. But because they come down here and they think I know everything that's going on, I know a lot of what's going on, but it's not this weekend. And the stuff that I like on Sunday, they'll be going back. They won't be here for. So I'm definitely the artist Shensia. I don't know if you guys heard of Shensia. Popular dancehall artist. She's gonna be in town Sunday, so I'm gonna go to the event, like a day brunch with Shensia for sure. But they'll be gone already. And there's a couple of good brunch spots that I won't be able to take them to. Sunday would be a better day, but we'll try to find out what we're gonna do Saturday and hang out. But this is like Independence is coming up, the celebration of Jamaican independence. So we'll see what we can find. We're less than a minute, guys. Excuse me.
8th Street Market. Thank you for your support to this radio station. So I'm gonna tell them about them, Lord, you must mad, we couldn't do that. Foundation from birth, yeah man, a low culture. Say, we're representing for the vice of the Caribbean, Jamaica and far beyond.
24 hours of the best Caribbean music. You're listening to WZPP,
The new 96.1
FM.
Yo, it's Shaggy. It's Voice of Caribbean. 102.1 Shaggy on your dial. Look at it while I'm in the door. Yeah.
Yes, people. It's a Fire Friday. Wagwan, wagwan. How are you? Let me turn on the music. Yes. Vibes. That's what we'll be bringing you all day, all night. Yes. It is a Fire Friday, my favorite day of the week here at Voice of the Caribbean Radio. If you're just tuning in, welcome. My name is Suzette Speaks, your hostess with the mostest here. I am a midday chick, as they say here, bringing you news, entertainment, hot topics, and fun stuff, right? Social media trends, things like that, that we just, chit chat about here on Thursdays and Fridays from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. You have to remember we also can go with you wherever you are here locally in South Florida or around the world. Of course, Voice of the Caribbean is an app. You can also find us on voiceofthecaribbean.com. Of course, you can follow me. Follow me now, please. Antang Suzette Speaks with two, wait a minute, no, one Z, two T, Suzette, one Z, two T, Speaks with an S. And as I was saying before the break, I wanted to bring you a kind of random story as an attorney. If you guys don't know, first of all, let me get to some of the events coming up because people are going to ask me, Susie, what you doing this weekend? I was telling my folks watching online during the break that I have a couple cousins coming in town. Big up cousins from DC, from Orlando, taking a little breather before school start and all that good stuff, coming to visit. So they were like, what we doing, what we doing? I was like, they expect me, of course, to know everything that's going on, where to go. This weekend, there's some big parties, but unfortunately, they are leaving on Sunday, like before I can take them to brunch or, Rise and Toast or any of the other day parties that we're known for here in Miami. So we're going to figure out what we're going to get into. If you have any ideas of what we can get into, you can call me 850-446-0562. Get you right in touch here at the studio. And of course, if you want to give me any of your opinions about today's hot topics, we're talking about the people that we've lost this week. I know it's a little sad, but we're trying to take lessons from it. Of course, long live Theo Huxtable, a.k.a. the incomparable actor Malcolm Jamal Warner. We also lost Ozzy Osbourne at 76 years of age. We've been talking about Hulk Hogan, right, who had a controversial kind of ending to his life, the second half of his life after WrestleMania. Now, many of us grew up on him when it came to, wrestling and in its heyday. He was an outsized influence for many of us. And like I said, long live my grandma, rest in peace, Grammy. She watched wrestling, and that's how I got into wrestling. I wasn't really a wrestling person, but when my grandma emigrated from Jamaica here, she used to love wrestling. I'm talking about she'll be rolling in the couch. Oh, get him, get like that kind of thing. Making the sound effects. You know how we do. We like a little sound effects. So she was really into it, and she's the one that kind of got me into the Ric Flair, into, the folks at that time that were so big. And so before we get into some more of the hot topics, I wanted to talk about this story coming out of Long Island. This is a random story. One of the hats I wear, I'm a personal injury attorney. I help people who have been injured, right? Whether it's a car accident, whether it's on the job, whether it's in the hospital. I got a little bit of, insight into this particular news story. A man who walked into an MRI room having a large chain on his neck and apparently getting sucked over to the machine. When I say sucked up, because he wasn't inside the machine. He walked into the room when the machine was on. So I was like, is he the patient? Was he going in to be laid down on the machine? Now, everybody maybe have had an MRI, but if you've had an MRI, just to try to describe it to you, it's a very large machine that has like a little tunnel buried into it that you lay on a board on your back. And they put you in kind of like a pizza, God forgive me, like a pizza into it. And it's slowly, and it's loud. That's the other thing about an MRI machine. The beeping and the buzzing, you have to have on headphones or earplugs, because if you don't, for that machine to read the inside of your body, however the technology works, it is loud. It's like almost like a jackhammer in your head, like that. So this man, happens to be African-American man out of Long Island, walked into a room with a huge gold chain on, and it looked like a freak accident, got sucked over to the MRI machine. I'm going to read you details in just a moment. Before we get into that story, I also got to tell you what's going on. Let me skip this weekend, because we have some partners that will be putting on amazing events coming up, celebrating for the diaspora, Jamaican independence. Of course, we in the Caribbean community know that there are a lot of celebrations of independence that we recognize. Again, big up Bahamas and several others who have just passed, celebrating their heritage of national independence. Well, Jamaica's Independence Weekend is going to be celebrated coming up August 2nd, August 3rd, all throughout that weekend, the Friday to Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So mark your calendars. There's one or two or three, Voice of the Caribbean going to be around. events that we'll be at and we want to tell you about. So first one is Solid as a Rock, 63rd Independence Celebration for Jamaica featuring the one and only Sizzla Kalonji. Yeah, yeah, yeah. One of my favorite artists. Alongside Etana, the strong one, Admiral Tibet, Lady G, Hal Anthony, backed by the Code Red Band. Yes, that will be August 3rd. City of Lauderdale Performing Arts Center, presented by Lauderdale, Mayor Denise Grant, Commissioner John T. Hodgson, of course, Voice of the Caribbean, and others. Come on out, guys. That one, you can find out more information. The showtime is at 6. Pre-sold is $45, VIP $120. And again, that's at the Lauderdale Performing Arts Center on August 3rd. That's the Sunday. Also on the Sunday, there's another performance called I Am Legend. So we just told you about Solid as I Rock. And now we have I Am Legend. Also, you have choices now. There's a lot going on down here on that weekend. So I Am Legend featuring Cargo, Ziggy Rankin, D Angel at Luxurious Hall. That's also in Lauderdale. 3500 Northwest 15th Street, Lauderdale. And again, that performance should be one to remember. Tickets are available at Joy's Roti, Lalo's, Sweet Hand, Kathy, D&G Restaurant, and Jamaica House. So independent, and there will be many more. Trust and believe, there'll be many more. This Sunday, I will be at Shensia. Shensia is in town. That's my DJ. There's too many songs I love about, Shensia, but she'll be in town. For those who will be going out to Rise and Toast, hey, holla at your girl. Should be there. I should be there. Yeah, praise God. And I'll be enjoying myself, just a little hang back, a little lime. Cousins are going to be in town Saturday. I'm going to look for something to do. I saw Kekun is running a special. Go online. Book Kekun only because I saw a 25% off all weekend. Friends and family discount at Cocoon. All right. So enough about the announcements. I wanted to get to, again, the passings of some entertainers that we all know and love. Not all of them. Let me just say not. We all know, but questionable whether we all love them. As I was telling you, some of the heat that Hulk Hogan is getting online is incredible. I'll allow you to go and research and look it up on social media. It is, again, it's sad that he passed again of a heart attack. But people are not holding back when it comes to how they felt about his racist rant, talking about black people, about his support for President Trump, I guess speaking during the campaign on behalf of President Trump, and some other indiscretions, let's call them. But I wanted to share this story. Oh, yeah, there's a networking event I'll also be at August 1st. That's that weekend. August 1st, City of Miramar. I love this. Network and Chill First Fridays. This is going to be hosted by DJ Irie, Mayor Wayne Messam, City of Miramar. I actually got an RSVP today. Miramar, Guan. They're doing stuff. This is going to be it's called Real Talk, Real Vibes, Real Business, August 1st, 6:30 to 9 at the Bind Space. It's a cute space in Miramar. Free with RSVP. Space is limited. 3150 Southwest 145th Avenue, Miramar. I've been out there. It's a cute space. Anyway, so August 1st, big up Mayor Messam and DJ Irie. All right. So the man that got sucked into the MRI, let's get to him. Because I was frightened when I read this story at first, and I thought how frightening this must have been for him. Family says, according to People magazine, people.com, family of man who died after being sucked into MRI machine seeks answers after preventable tragedy, says their lawyer. Now, the family of this man is truly grateful for the outpouring of heartfelt condolences. A lawyer for Keith McAllister, that's his name, Keith McAllister's family said. All right, so people have been coming out saying, boy, this is a crazy story. So the lawyer for the family of Keith McAllister, the man who died after being dragged into an MRI machine, said they are devastated and seeking answers. Can you imagine? In the wake of this tragedy, Mr. Keith McAllister, who was 61 years old, just died on July 17th, a day after he was critically injured from the incident. NASA Open MRI, that's the name of it. NASA Open MRI. The facility where the tragedy allegedly took place previously declined comment to People magazine. I'm reading from people.com, citing ongoing investigation. The family of a man who died after being sucked into an MRI machine is devastated, again, and seeking answers. According to the attorney, Keith McAllister, 61, died on when he entered a Long Island MRI room during a scan. Now, I want to know, was he going into the wrong room? Was he supposed to be the patient in that room? There's some questions especially putting on my personal injury attorney hat. I'm like, what happened here? How did this happen? So Mr. Keith McAllister lost his life, according to Nassau County Police in a statement, when they said that McAllister was wearing, quote, a large metallic chain around his neck. Now, anybody who has taken an MRI or has seen another person go into an MRI machine or into an MRI office to go get the MRI to see the soft tissue in your body, it is like an X-ray, but for the softer tissue in your body, right? The organs, right? So that the doctor can see if anything happening in your liver, in your lungs, in your gallbladder, in your brain. That's why you go to get the MRI. And the first rule they tell you, take off all your jewelry. Take off any metal that you have. And even if you have metal inside your body, you have to tell them. Because some people have metal plates, you know, in their jaw, in their head, in their knee, wherever it is. You have to tell those people, I have a metal blah, blah, blah in my body. You have to tell them. So I cannot understand how he, with a big old metal chain around his neck, went into a room. And this is my thing. If the MRI machine was on and sucked him over to it, pull him off, pull him by the neck, the chain, I pull him, probably almost severed him. Because I'm trying to picture, if they say a large gold metallic necklace, how much force an MRI machine would exert. And this is just me speculating. I'm listening, you know, to some of the reports this morning. And I kept saying, I want to see what it was, because, you know, it is frightening to know if another patient was in that machine and it was on and he mistakenly walked into that room, or was perhaps the technician running a test on the machine. He was supposed to be next in the room, but the machine was going already. And so he walks in, the machine is being tested and turned on, turned off, and it sucks him in. Boy, this is a freak accident if I ever heard of one. So they got a lawyer. You know how it goes. They got a lawyer. They lawyered up. And again, the 61-year-old died when he entered a Long Island MRI room during a scan. And according to Nassau County Police in a statement, said that Mr. Keith McAllister was, quote, wearing a large metallic chain around his neck at the time, causing him to be sucked into the machine, according to people.com. He was critically injured and died the next day. Lord have mercy. Now his family's attorney is sharing their deep sadness following this, quote, preventable, according to the attorney. Now, I know I'm lawyered up, too. As a personal injury attorney, I'm thinking about the who, what, where, when, why. Was the office, the MRI office, to blame? Because how you make a man come in at the back with a big gold chain and the first rule of MRI is don't wear jewelry? How is that possible? Somebody didn't do their job. Now, on the other hand, just let's play devil's advocate for a second. If he pushed past people, or if he was in a place that he should not have been, but I can't imagine, was he there first and foremost, because the article don't tell me, was he there to get an exam? Was he accompanying somebody else? Or perhaps was he entering a place that he should not have been because he did not have permission? I want to know. The facts is not in this article. I'm still curious about some of those things, because that makes a big difference. So I'm looking at this and I said, boy, if this was my husband, what would I do? So the wife, her name is Miss Adrienne Jones McAllister, says, quote, we asked the public and friends to keep Mr. McAllister's wife, Adrienne Jones McAllister, I can't say it now. That's the lawyer saying this, and the entire family in their thoughts and prayers during this profoundly difficult time, says lawyer Michael Lauderdale. The family is truly grateful for the outpouring of heartfelt condolences received from the community and from across the country. Jones McAllister was with her husband. This is what it say. The wife, Adrienne, she was with her husband at the Nassau Open MRI when the incident unfolded. She told News 12 Long Island, he went limp in my arms. Now, okay, here we go. She had an MRI on her knee. Hold on. So she was the one getting it. I didn't read this part yet. She had an MRI on her knee and called for the technician to let her husband in to help her get up after. Wait a minute. This even hurts even more. So she was the one getting the MRI, and she asked the technician to let her husband come in to help her get back up afterwards, she told News 12. The technician allowed McAllister inside even though he was wearing a 20-pound weight training chain around his neck. Blow, whoa. Wow. I didn't get this. Okay. The technician allowed McAllister inside even though he was wearing a 20-pound. Maybe he didn't see it. Weight training? Why would you have? I guess he came from the gym. I'm trying to picture this, y'all. 20-pound weight training chain around his neck. I was saying, could you turn off the machine? Call 911. Do something. Turn the darn thing off. She said another word. James McAllister said, adding separately, that was not the first time the guy has been... The wife says, comma, let me make sure I read it properly. That was not the first time that guy has seen that chain. They had a conversation about it before. Wow. A representative from the Nassau County Police Public Information Office previously told people that they had no additional information to release. So, okay. So the wife was getting an MRI on her knee. She's going to the machine. The exam is over, but the machine wasn't off. She asked the technician to let her husband into the MRI room. The husband had on a 20-pound, that must have choked him, 20-pound weight training chain around his neck. And it sucked him in. Boy, I know. They tried to call 911, but unfortunately the injury was fatal. Well, like I said, we have to take precaution in this time. You know, there's a lot of weird stuff happening, and I don't know. You know, that's what they call a freak accident, honestly. Because how can you predict anything like that? That's something so, random. But really and truly, if he was being advised to go in, the technician, usually don't they lock the door? And wouldn't the technician have to see that he had that big old thing around his neck to get in the door? I don't know why. Well, anyway, we'll keep tabs on that story. Very sad and tragic story, because now the wife going to feel guilt. All of this. You can't bring back the person. That's the thing. Even though I do personal injury and I try to seek justice for my clients, you can't bring back the person. And especially if you're directly involved. Even as I think about Malcolm Jamal Warner, the Cosby Show actor who played Theo Huxtable, and his daughter, 8-year-old daughter, being with him on Sunday, it's a heartbreaking scenario, because she now has to live with that memory. Boy, that's not easy. Let's keep all of these folks lifted up in prayers. Again, this was a crazy week when it comes to losing notable figures. How do you feel about the losses? I don't know. It always causes us, because even though we don't know these people personally, it causes us to reflect, because a lot of them had an impact on our lives, right? That's the thing of, cult of personality or fame, right? Celebrity. We don't know them personally, but they have. We feel like we know them. I felt like I knew Theo Huxtable. Long live Malcolm Jamal Warner, right? Hulk Hogan, larger than life. Some people are given the stage, the biggest stage in terms of their impact on the world. Some people, their stage is their home. But these folks happen to have platforms, right? They're just human beings like me and you. They just happen to have platforms, which their talent allowed them to impact people from, right? So as we think about Ozzy Osbourne, pray for Sharon. Ozzy M. Sharon from that show, The Osbournes. For those of you who grew up watching the MTV show, The Osbournes, Sharon, his little weak voice calling out for his wife. There's love there. They were together for how much decades? They were married a long time, I remember. And then the daughter and the son, what named Jack, and I forget the daughter name. You remember? Yeah, man, there was some memories that, you saw life through their lens. And I think watching other people's experiences, allows us to reflect on our own. That's what the Cosby Show did for me. We talked about that yesterday. Reflection of Black life that we hadn't seen ever on TV, that allow people to say, wait a minute, Black people, they have great families. They're just like us anyway. So we're praying for the families, no matter how you feel about them, whether they are controversial, whether they are, sorely missed. We send our condolences out on behalf of the Voice of the Caribbean family. to the family of Anne Burrell, the popular chef from the Food Network that passed away at 55 this week. Chuck Mangione, a jazz musician who achieved crossover success, died at 84. Malcolm Jamal Warner, best known for his portrayal of Theo Huxtable on The Cosby Show. Of course, Ozzy Osbourne, frontman of Black Sabbath and solo artist who passed away at 76. And yes, Hulk Hogan as well. Hulk Hogan dying of cardiac arrest. Yo, have a good weekend. Find something positive to do. You know, we'll be back next week. Catch me every Thursday and Friday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. right here on Voice of the Caribbean Radio. We got a lot of music up for you. This is going to be an amazing weekend. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. So keep it locked. Lisa B up next. And of course, you can visit us on the web and find out more about what's happening around the community. Thanks for listening. Suzette Speaks. Saying goodbye until next week. Have a great weekend, y'all.
Bassa, Kingston, Jamaica. Island located at 5305 North 07 in Tamarack. Music by Mikey White. Is hosted by Mikey.